The second season of The End of the Effing World graced our screens on Netflix in the US, and all 4 in the UK early last week, and it's safe to say that this season definitely delivered on all expectations. It was as gory, beautifully shot, and perfectly digestible just as much as the first season was, and I absolutely loved it. There were some real standout moments in season 2 of the show, which led me to think, what are the 5 most powerful moments in the entirety of the show? Well, in this video I'll be answering that question. So, what are they? Well, let's find out. Before I go ahead, make sure you go over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. So without further ado, I'm BrainPilot, and here are the 5 most powerful moments in the end of the effing world. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers, so watch with caution. Number 5. The beautiful shots throughout. This is probably a moment that's going to be relatively controversial, down to the fact that it isn't actually one specific moment. It's something that's apparent throughout the entirety of the show. The way that the show is shot and graded has to feature on this list because it does make the show powerful, especially when compared to many other shows out there at the moment. The greens and blues and reds are the main colours that are apparent throughout Season 1 and Season 2, and the way that it's been graded by having a grey tinge really does allow the colours to stand out and be something that you walk away from the show remembering. The close-ups are framed perfectly, and even the wide shots. It allows you to really connect with the characters and feel intimate at moments when it's vital to the story. The setting feels real and so do the characters, and a lot of that comes down to the way that the show was shot. Visually, it's so appealing to watch, and it's by far one of the best looking shows of the year. Number 4. James returning in Season 2. James is a character that was vital to the development of the plot in Season 1. And I was uncertain of how the show was going to continue in Season 2 without him. Of course, this didn't happen. A moment that I believe is one of the most powerful throughout the entirety of the show is when we found out that it was in fact James that was following Alyssa and not Bonnie. Throughout the whole of that episode, we were being led down the path of Bonnie following Alyssa, and that it was going to be the moment that the pair finally confronted each other. However, it was actually James in the car, and he wasn't killed at the end of Season 2, nor did he go to prison. I was so glad that he returned. I was celebrating when I saw it was him in the car, and his presence would have definitely been missed throughout Season 2 if he didn't return. It was great to see the pair on screen together, and it made you feel joy to see the pair reunited. Even though Alyssa wasn't necessarily over the moon, but I feel it represented her character well. The show deliberately did this by not including him in the trailer or any of the promotional materials for the show. It added to the impact and was a great moment when he first appeared on screen in Season 2. Number 3. The death of the Professor. This is essentially what led the pair down their troubled paths and allow it to become the end of the effing world. Visually, it was a very uncomfortable scene to witness. The way the Professor was behaving was awful. And when he hit Alyssa, you felt the fear that she felt, and the helplessness that they were witnessing. Then, when James appears from behind and kills him, it was extremely uncomfortable to watch. The blood, gore, and experience of witnessing somebody losing their life on screen was performed to the point of the end, and with full commitment. Again, visually, they didn't hold back. And they pushed it as far as they could possibly go without it being ridiculous. It was a dark scene that, even when looking back on it, you feel was executed very well given the situation that they had to handle. Number 2. James and Alyssa get shot. This moment came in the penultimate episode of Season 2, where Bonnie finally had James and Alyssa at her mercy. To a certain extent. The tension was building and building, to the point where you could see that Bonnie was ready to snap. And she did. We were in the middle of witnessing the conversation between the trio, and out of nowhere, Bonnie fires and kills the pair. At this point, it fell silent, and I did as well. I didn't understand what I just watched. However, I did feel as though if there were a show that would kill off the two main characters, then it would have been this one. We see the moment happen, and the fact that we watched it and saw the pair get shot made it even more powerful. They didn't cut to black, cut away, or cut to Bonnie. They wanted us to see exactly what happened to make it all the more believable. After we see it occur, this is then when we find out that it happened inside of Bonnie's head, and the pair were actually still alive, highlighting just how mentally ill Bonnie was and that she needed help. I'm glad the pair didn't get killed and they lived to see another episode. This moment is powerful for many reasons. For the visual showing of the murder, the fact we were tricked, and also the scariness of the realization of how messed up Bonnie is. It definitely deserves to be this high up on the list. Number 1. The beach. The moment that I believe is the most powerful in the entirety of the end of the effing world occurs in the final episode, in the closing moments of Season 1. We've witnessed the pair's world fall apart and the characters' individual demise, and they've been on the run for the whole season, and it all comes to an end in the final moments of the first season. The moment that I think deserves to be number 1 is when we witness James running along the beach and the police are firing at him, and then it cuts to black. That's it. We're left wondering what happened, if he's dead, if he's alive, and what state he's in. The way it was executed is beautiful. Again, it's shot to the point where it's so easy on the eye, and is extremely comfortable to watch. There are flashbacks of James and Alyssa's time together highlighting the emotional element, and Alyssa is screaming and falling weak at the knees, wishing that she could do more to help him. Every emotion that the moment wanted you to evoke, you did. You go on a journey with these two characters, and it's all been building up to this final point. The speculation of how the show ended and the fate of James, the reflectiveness of the journey that you've just witnessed. It's a moment that definitely stands out when compared to many other moments in the entirety of the show, and that's why it's number 1. So, there you have it. What I believe are the 5 most powerful moments in the end of the effing world. Before you go, head over to my Patreon. You can get your hands on some exclusive content that's just for you. Take a look and see what you think. Also, I've just restructured it. What do you think of this list? Do you agree with me? Leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to say thank you to my patrons B Cypher, Lucy Nathanson, and Fernie.